Welcome to another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, the Shoebox Project is back, bringing some Christmas joy to those who might go without. The Barrie YMCA is looking forward to the youth transitional housing that will be included in the new Barrie Y. The Barrie Colts have climbed their way to first place in their division, looking to pad that lead some more this weekend. And we hear from a public health nurse and an OPP officer who are celebrating their public awareness campaigns on drug use, mental health, and overall well-being. We get the conversation started after this. An Nottawasaga OPP officer and a public health nurse with the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit making some noise with their public awareness campaigns about drug use, mental health, and general well-being. So much noise, they were recently honored by the OPP Commissioner for their work. Barrie 360's Ian McLennan wanted to know more about their work, so he called Provincial Constable Katie Vickery and public health nurse Kathy Eisner to the Barrie 360 microphone.
So I've got a public health nurse from the local health unit, and I've got an OPP constable with the Nottawasaga detachment. You received an award recently from the OPP. Let's lead into that. What was the award for? What were you acknowledged for, both of you?
Well, for the past upwards of 6 years, Kathy and I have been kind of spearheading numerous public awareness campaigns surrounding opioids and mental health and overall well-being. We were formally recognized from the Commissioner of the Ontario Provincial Police, Thomas Creek. We both received a joint community service, an award for excellence in community service.
You're both frontline in different capacities when it comes to mental health and addiction. Kathy, how did you and your friend from the OPP connect?
We connected because in my geographic area of focus is South Simcoe. I'm from the area, so I'm very passionate about that area. And so I co-chair the Nottawasaga Opioid Advisory Working Group with OPP as the other half of that co-chair. And so it was through that role that I was able to connect with Katie when she came into her role. So it's been great. We've worked really well together.
We have, and it's been almost 6 years, and we were working together pre-COVID-19 global pandemic, and then things with our mental health and opioid awareness campaigns kind of took off from there because both Kathy and I identified very quickly, along with our other service providers in the community, that, the way that folks were accessing services and, from hours of operation to physically, accessing services when, we were supposed to be at home, socially distanced, and all these types of things. Well, folks still need the resources that they were utilizing within the community. So I think it was then that Kathy and I decided to, quote, go online and try to get all of this information out. So we would we would go to each community service provider, get information about how are you continuing supporting the people in the community, with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, which then essentially changed the way that they were providing services for a 2-year period. And so that's kind of the beginning of Katie and Kathy. And we've just kind of taken it upon ourselves. We both have large portfolios. We both have many other addendums in our job descriptions, but I think that this is, kind of self-led between the two of us because of our genuine passion for community service.
Kathy, you're different in the frontline role. You see things that are needed and are lacking in the system, and so would Katie. So what makes this connection work so well together? That based on your both different sort of careers.
Katie said it really well when she used that word passion, and I think I'll just take it a little bit further because we both really look at our work from a lens of compassion. Recognizing that everyone deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion. And so we try to raise awareness about not only the services that are out there, but, what some of the struggles are for folks that are experiencing either a mental health issue or a substance use issue. because by raising awareness, we can help create compassion for the folks who are out there struggling.
And how critical is it? Do you interact with both adults and young people? I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know if officers are equipped with pamphlets, but do you give your officers that you interact with information, encouragement to how they should interact with these individuals who are struggling? Not that they don't have the training, but
they have formal training through our police organization, and then above that, our detachment alone has 2 detachment training days that take place annually. But in regards to what do the officers have? Yes, they have pamphlets that myself and some others from our community mobilization and engagement unit have put together, and housing resources, addiction resources, lots and different kind of subcategories. And I always just say to the officers, have a bunch in your duty bag. When you go to the call, if you think it's applicable, grab it out, highlight or circle or, put an asterisk or star it or whatever and give it to the person. Put the report number, put your name, your badge number, let that person have, because, it's overwhelming when you sometimes have interactions with police and you might forget the course of the conversation. Oh, what was that reference that they said? Or, whatever the case might be about, random family dispute. And okay, let's get to the kind of issue at hand. Why are we having the dispute? Why were the police, involved? Oh, okay, well, it's because of A, B, or C. And if we can help, point them in the direction to maybe go and get some help or some resources, then that will eventually reduce our future involvement with them and hopefully give, that other social service provider an opportunity to jump in and do what they've been trained to do and designated to do and whatever like that. So it's all about getting folks connected with the right service provider.
And that connection, Kathy, is so important because I have found through discussions with other people, the system, if you want to call it, and some say it's broken or fragmented quite a bit, getting these individuals connected as opposed to just leaving them to try to navigate. How critical is that? Oh,
connections are so important. And whether it's connections to service providers, whether it's a casual connection, connections lead to bridges, and those bridges allow people to get to the door they need to get to and get it open. But for, it's not just the it's not just to service providers, just having a smile and saying hello to someone can create that connection so that when they go to their next spot that they're going to be at, they might be more apt to smile at someone that's there. And it just kind of builds, people really need those connections generally and then need the support to make those connections to the service providers. And if they have a connection with an individual, that individual might then be able to facilitate that connection to the next step because they'll feel safe enough to ask for that.
I know there are boundaries, obviously, in both your jobs, but do you ever hear back from somebody you've interacted with or an officer has with someone that has been struggling and has gone through the process and, are back on their feet, so to speak? Oh,
yeah, absolutely. I can't. Kathy's nodding her head here. Yes. And I think that's why we just keep doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? It gives us the push to, we are making a difference, and we both have very busy careers. We have busy lives. We have, aging parents we take care of. We have 1,000 things going on in our personal lives. But I know for me, this helps fill my cup, so to speak. And for me, it's all about connection. I know I'm not a stranger to my own mental health challenges, and anyone knows me knows I'm very open about those challenges. And I'll tell you, the reason I'm still here is because of the connections I have with folks, and not everyone is as lucky. So if we can just help reduce stigma during our public awareness campaigns, we've always said our goal is public education, stigma reduction, and community and connection. And, that's, I think, why we do what we do, because we do hear back from folks and we do know, what service providers can provide to those people. We're like the one-stop shop. Come to us. We might not have the answer, but we know, what direction to point you. And then from there, let that service provider take the lead, so to speak, with helping that individual or those individuals that comprise of a family or what have you.
This is what Barrie's talking about from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. Happy to have back in the studio Shannon Murray, who, when she's not selling real estate, is an avid supporter of women's hockey. But that's not why you're here today, because when you're not doing all those other things, you're filling shoe boxes this time of year with the Shoebox project. Fill us in on what that's all about, first of all, for those who have never heard of it before.
Ooh, my favorite AKA project, which is a charity here in Simcoe County that was brought here about 11 years ago. It is a Canada-wide national charity, and what I love about it is that it's a local initiative to help support women, girls, gender-diverse individuals, the Indigenous communities, to be reminded that they are not forgotten, most particularly around the holiday season. And it's something so simple. I like to call it the shoebox of love. It's something so simple as filling a shoebox with $50 worth of luxury items, and then we hand it out to the different organizations that support those people who are most vulnerable.
What kinds of items? You mentioned luxury items, but let's get some specifics here for people.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different items that are available. Of course, we have it available on our website just to kind of make it very simple for everyone. It can be anything from a luxury shampoo, it can be a silk hair wrap, it can be a silk pillowcase, it can be a luxurious smelling body wash, and something that you would give like a good friend or an aunt or someone like that. You know, nothing used, nothing personal, like personal sanitary items or things like that. But it would be something that they could open up this shoebox and just take it out and smell the items, the luxuriousess, the feel. It's a warmth. And the other great feedback that we get from it is, providing something of warmth where it could be like, maybe a toque, but the personal notes. If you make a personal generic note just to be reminded that they're thought of, to give them encouragement, whatever it is that they're facing, like maybe a luxurious chocolate, things like that of that nature, just that they open it up and they just kind of feel warmth and love when they open the box.
And are you looking for people to actually fill the entire shoebox or just donate items that you can put in? Because I seem to recall last year you posted a picture on social media of you clearing out a big box store of all their plastic shoe boxes.
That is absolutely right. What I love most about this charity is I know a lot of people are finding it tough financially. And what I love about this initiative is it can be family members, it can be sports teams, it can be corporations, and we're not asking for money. Of course, the donation of fundraising is always helpful, because then we can also buy, gift cards and things like that to fill the shoe boxes. But if you think about it, it can be a corporation or family members. You can donate bulk items of those items. You can have, a little holiday get together, have one person maybe bring, shampoo, conditioner, have another person bring body wash, and put one or two shoe boxes together, or write personal notes, or somebody can buy gift cards or whatever that looks like, and it's still that feeling of giving. We also do appreciate the donation of the decorative shoe boxes, or if you are in the beauty industry or anything like that and have bulk items that you can donate. Of course, anything to help to be able to fill those shoe boxes is what we appreciate.
Is there an age range on this, as far as the recipients are concerned?
So we do help women, girls, and gender-diverse individuals. We absolutely do donate to Youth Haven. So if you look at it in that way, in terms of age, we probably most likely to young adults and adults when you're thinking of putting the shoe boxes together, and just being mindful of who those recipients would be. And, if you do a gender diverse box, we do have special stickers. So we ask that you use a decorative box, don't seal the box, because we do have to go through a quality control, make sure there's no alcohol-based items or things like that, or sharp sharp razors because we don't know who the recipients are. And that way we can do quality control, and then we'll have special stickers that can go on so we know how to distribute them throughout the region. What I also love about Shoebox is it's not just Barrie-centric. It's all within this listening area. It's Simcoe County, Simcoe Grey, to all the different organizations that help. And whatever donations are donated locally stays local.
How many boxes are you looking to fill? How many have you filled in the past?
We are now looking at 1,500 shoeboxes, so we are counting on the community. We do have several drop-off locations throughout the region, and our shoebox launch was last Friday, and it is going on until Sunday, December 8th. It has to be a sharp end because then we have to do that week of quality control, and then we have our incredible corporate donor who is going to be utilizing their electric vehicles, and will be donating them throughout the region to be able to deliver the shoeboxes for us. So it's a sharp cutoff date.
Let's give a shout out to that corporate donor.
Yes, I would love to give a shout out to Affordable Comfort Heating and Cooling. They have been absolutely incredible for us. They reached out to us and said, how can we help? They donate their time and their resources, their vehicles, and without them, because before I was putting all those thousands of shoeboxes, loading them up in my vehicle and delivering them, and it was a lot of work. And they just come in with their dollies, they don their Santa hats, and they do it with so much joy. And anyone who gives their time, I love to give back to those companies. So honestly, we couldn't do it without our corporate partners.
You mentioned drop-off locations. They're listed on a website, I presume?
Absolutely. We have several drop-off locations, and we made it very simple for everyone. You can go to shoeboxproject.ca/Simcoe. That will bring you to our direct website. If people are unable to make a donation of a physical shoebox, if you click on donate to this chapter, and then you can donate any financial denomination you like, you will get a tax receipt. And again, everything that's donated locally stays locally. If you're unable to do the shoebox, you can donate that way, or you can also create a virtual shoebox, and then we'll create the shoeboxes for you. So there's lots of different ways that we want to encourage everyone to get involved in this wonderful initiative. And again, just to remind everybody that they're not forgotten during the holidays and no one is overlooked.
Shannon, thanks so much for dropping by.
Thank you, as always, for your support.
Still to come on What Barrie's Talking About, the Barrie Colts have galloped their way to top spot in the OHL Central Division, and the YMCA not just looking to getting a new facility built in Barrie, but also to what that facility will be able to do to help troubled youth. Now this.
Our community rocks.
It's a well-known fact blood transfusion saves lives. It's also a well-known fact that the world relies on voluntary unpaid donations to fill the need for blood. The need for blood never ends. Canadian Blood Services in Barrie is calling on you to help save a life. Please consider donating today. Appointments are mandatory and must be booked in advance. Book today at blood.ca through the Give Blood app or by calling 1-888-2-DONATE.
Barrie's Rock Station, Rock 95.
This is What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. The Barrie Colts are top of the heap in the OHL Central Division and will be on the road for 3 games this weekend, looking to grow that lead. We get our regular weekly update from Barrie 360's Will Conkin and Colts broadcaster and writer Gene Pereira.
We're back in the stable, Gene. More talking Colts. The club went 2-1 in their last 3, took care of the Brantford Bulldogs 3-2 in overtime, lost to the Brampton Steelheads 5-2, and an exciting 6-4 win over Oshawa in front of the Sadlin crowd. Let's start with that one. Great play from Bo Akey, Cole Bodwin, and Sam Hilbrand in net. Talk about that and just the atmosphere in the arena.
Yeah, I mean, just really an outstanding hockey game. A packed rink, and 2 of the top teams in the Ontario Hockey League, never mind the Eastern Conference. And again, just one of those games, obviously early season, but make no mistake, a game that both of these teams wanted. They wanted to make a statement, and right from the drop of the puck, it was back and forth. Oshawa was a really good team, 4 first-round NHL picks. So a lot of talent out there on the ice, and a lot of back and forth, big saves, big plays, and the Barrie Colts ended up pulling it out at the end on a big goal, a beautiful setup between Bo Akey and Cole Bodwin. Akey was just outstanding all game, and he had the puck at the point, and he spotted Bowden going for the net, and he put it right on his stick and for the winner. And it was just a huge play by two big players. And then Sam Hillebrand, who had just, like you said, he gave up 4 goals, but he made a lot of big-time stops. And, 2 of them late against Colby Barlow that were just point-blank, one in a pass across to the crease, and another one on a one-timer that Barlow thought he had for sure. And Hillebrand came across and made a beautiful glove stop, and Barlow put his hands to his head. You could just tell he couldn't believe it, and neither could the crowd. And, it was just one of those games that, honestly, Will, it was just a real treat to watch, and just great excitement.
You were mentioning that each team looked like they were trying to show that they are top in the conference, eh?
Yeah, I mean, obviously these are 2 of the top teams, that are going to battle the Eastern Conference. Obviously a lot of expectations with Brampton and, even Brantford. And, again, I think when you look at the talent that was out there, this is just the first of... this is the second meeting between the teams, but Callum Ritchie had returned to Oshawa from Colorado, and kind of a lot more talent out there on the ice this time around. And Barrie's now 2-0 against Oshawa. But, these statement games, make no mistake, these players know they're trying to prove a point that they're the top dog, and, Barrie comes out on top again.
Miscue was the word you used for the game against the Steelheads. What went wrong there, Gene?
Yeah, that was a tough game. Barrie found a way to tie it, and 2-2 late. And, I thought there was a game that they played pretty well here on the road and maybe deserved a bit better. But, it's the way it goes sometimes, that late third period, about 3-4 minutes remaining, and 2 of the Barrie players got kind of sucked in behind the net, chasing the puck, and Porter Martone, and he threw it out to Luke Meese, who was left all alone in front. And he ended up burying the winning goal, and then a couple of empty net goals salted it away. But it's one of those games that it would have been nice to pull out, against a Brampton team that has really struggled of late. But for them, it was a big win, and pulling it out late. But for the Colts, I think it's one of those games where you say that we deserved better. But it just goes to show you that when you play these top teams, that any kind of small miscue or mistake or bad decision could prove to be the difference.
And it was Bo Jelsma with the big play to help the Colts beat the Bulldogs, right?
Yeah, another entertaining game. Again, this was a week all against the top Eastern Conference opponents, and Brantford, another really good team, well coached there, and another entertaining game. And it was a real battle, and the end result is that Bo Jelsma ends up forcing the turnover in his own zone and races down all the way on a breakaway and just takes off and scores the winner over the right pad. And again, just an outstanding play. And then, you talk about elite players, and they this is why they're special players. They make special plays at key times, and that was a big-time play by Bo Jelsma to pull out the win there.
There have also been some suspensions for the Colts lately. Talk about that as well.
Yeah, I guess the Colts running into some issues. Evan Passmore is still got a couple of games remaining on his 5-game suspension that he got for bullying. Jaden Newton also out 2 games. He has to serve 1 more. And Bodie Stewart was handed a 3-game suspension. So all 3 key guys that have been key parts of the lineup that the Colts have been without. But again, we talked about the importance of having depth and, providing an opportunity for other guys to stand up. And one of the guys that, has really impressed me is young Justin Hanser on defense. Here's a guy that's had to play forward in defense, kind of to fill in at different positions at times. But he was, I thought, really, really solid on the blue line with Evan Passmore's absence. So, he's had the opportunity to get some ice time, and he's taken advantage of it.
The Colts now hit the road in Windsor Thursday, Flint Saturday, and Sarnia Sunday. These road trips are always a good test, eh?
Yeah, they're a good test, and obviously they're a good bonding time and for these players here on the road. But that first game against Windsor Thursday night, Windsor's just been outstanding to start the year. One of the surprise teams in the OHL, but, when you look at that roster, that was a roster that was really ready to take a big step, led by Liam Greentree and, Ethan Belchis, who was the first overall pick in the OHL draft this season, and, just a real talented team, and, that'll be a real tough test for Barrie. And then Saturday night against Flint in Flint, the Firebirds, another pretty solid team, and then Sunday, Sarnia, another team with a lot of young talent in there on Sunday, Barrie. So, a road swing here, only 4 home games in November, but another stern test of a week for the Barrie Colts.
Looking forward to see how they do. Till next time, Gene.
Thanks, Will.
Prep work continues for the new YMCA facility in Barrie, still a couple of years out, but when complete will hold new hope for some of our troubled youth in the form of transitional housing. Here again are Ian McLennan with Jill Tetman, president of the YMCA of Simcoe, Muskoka.
There is a new YMCA coming to Barrie. Just briefly, before we get to the meat and potatoes of what we're going to talk about, tell us about the new Y, where it's being built, and when it will be built.
Okay, well, this is an exciting topic for me to talk about, so thank you. The new Y is going to be built at 535 Bayview Avenue. So it's on the corner between Bayview and Mapleview, and it's in the back parking lot beside the Sadlin Arena. That's where we're building it. We are expecting to have shovel in the ground this spring, March, April, with a 2-year build. We will be substantially complete by the end of March 2027, and we plan to open our doors in the late summer of 2027.
Now, one of the unique components of the YMCA now, I know it's not just a place to go to, to swim and do exercise, and there's a unique component. You received $2.5 million from the City of Barrie in October, a grant for a youth transitional housing project. So that's going to be on-site at the new Y. And what is it?
Yes, it is. So it's actually going to be attached to the YMCA. And we're excited because having youth housing attached to a YMCA is just such a unique opportunity to connect youth into the Y. So youth transitional housing is focused on the long-term needs of homelessness or at-risk youth. And they are harder to address in an emergency shelter setting. And so the housing, the transitional housing component, it's semi-independent. It focuses on life skills, and youth need to develop a personal plan, and they need to attend skill classes, and to be in transitional housing, the youth needs to either be in school or working. And the program for the transitional housing offers an opportunity to actually make some gains in confidence, some changes in the youth to help support them in the next stages of their life, in finding housing and finding more permanent housing. Youth in a transitional housing setting can stay for up to 4 years. The unique opportunity is that with the YMCA attached, we have youth services and youth programs. We have an intergenerational hub. So there'll be lots of opportunities for youth to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, the Y already has a number of youth-focused programs already. So is the unique part that, is this a first that for the YMCA to offer transitional housing? Has it been done anywhere else in the country that you're aware of? Or?
So there are other YMCAs across the country that have housing programs, not specifically youth transitional housing, lots of supportive housing and affordable housing programs. There's a few YMCAs in Ontario, Toronto, Ottawa, and Hamilton. And then at West, there's a couple of programs. But this youth transitional housing is unique to the YMCA.
And what was sort of the trigger to go, we should add this, we should make this a part of our new building?
Yeah. That vision was before my time. However, the vision for a new Barrie Centre of Community happened about 10 years ago. And that vision occurred with the community. And the community community had input and the community was engaged, and the community wanted to see a broader community hub, a center of community that included support for youth and a childcare center and other unique features. It wasn't just a standalone facility with bricks and mortar in terms of the feeling that you get when you walk into a Y, that sense of belonging, that sense of connection, and they really wanted youth to feel connected. And then started talking to some of our partners in the community about youth transitional housing and what that would look like. So as far as I know, and when I came into the Y, it's always been a part of the vision of the new Barrie YMCA.
And how many young people will you be able to accommodate?
So that we're building 12 units.
Right.
They are standalone units with a washroom and a bed and a dresser, like an actual sort of room. There'll be common spaces, common lounge spaces, living room spaces, and there'll be a kitchen facilities as well. And it's going to be on 2 floors, and there will be an entrance off the main level, and there will be some outdoor spaces too. So there'll be we're planning like an outdoor barbecue. So if the youth want a barbecue, there'll be an outdoor basketball court. So just things where youth can get involved. We also have in storage space underneath if they bring their bikes or whatever. So trying to really accommodate it as their home.
And what age are we talking when we talk about youth here?
Yeah, we talk between 18 and 30.
Okay. So there's a wide gap, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you have an expectation of what level they come in at in terms of I'll say maturity, but is there a component for disability or in mental health or other issues they may bring with them?
Yeah, so the YMCA is accessible to all, and we are an inclusive environment, and that is the focus of the transitional housing will also be accessible to all. We do have 2 units that have accessible bathrooms that could accommodate a wheelchair if necessary in terms of how we've designed the rooms to have wider doorways, and as such there's an elevator in the building, and we will be inclusive to all. As you said earlier, we do provide a lot of youth programs and services. We provide youth education for employment and housing. We provide mental health services, support for that, and working with partners in the community. So we will be open to all.
Now, the Y is not open 24 hours, though, but the transitional housing, will it be a 24-hour sort of operation?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be 24/7. The Y is open typically like 5:30 in the morning till about 10 at night, but not overnight.
So the City of Barrie grant, how did that come about? That $2.5 million is a good chunk of change.
Yeah, it is, and we're so appreciative of the city. So we've been talking to the city for many reasons. Obviously, we're leasing the space that we're building on from the city, and we've been talking to them about different opportunities for grants and development charges, and the opportunity for this community housing grant came available and encouraged us to apply for it. So we submitted the grant, and we heard that we were successful with the $2.5 million. So it helps out a lot for a building that where costs are continuing to escalate.
And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Ian and Will for their input, to Matt Ladder for his technical expertise, and to you for listening. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Blue Sky or X at Barrie360, on our website, Barrie360.com, and there's our daily Kickstart podcast available from any streaming service and on our website. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.